after recording for so long and I like was muted. Okay, I'll talk about it again. Okay, so I kind of just wanted to talk about Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and kind of just Hidetaka Miyazaki's video games because I just find them so interesting and I just want to talk about them, just like their like meaning and like artistically their stories and shit. Because yeah, and like I don't, because a lot of the community doesn't even attempt to understand the story themselves. Like that whole idea of like, oh, we'll just leave Vati to do it. We'll just like let, like it's this kind of glorifying like anti-intellectualism and just like not being smart, which is just awful. It's not good. It's not good to not be smart, guys. It's not good to not try to understand things at a deeper level. So yeah, I wanted to talk about it because just like it's very interesting to me. So yeah, sorry, I gotta re-remember what I was talking about. So yeah, I started playing his games in 2021. It was after the Demon Souls remake came out. I just saw a bunch of content on that and kind of really got into like Dark Souls and stuff. Because yeah, I first played Dark Souls in 2021. Didn't beat it until 2 years ago. Yeah, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3 I played. And that was also the time in 2021 when the Elden Ring trailer released. Like the gameplay trailer. And I just immediately was just fully in love with that. Yeah, and then when I played Elden Ring, I played it, it just literally like changed my life. Like I played that game so much. I beat it after 110 hours, so definitely the longest game I played, I think. It took me a long time, but then after I beat it, I kept playing it. It was just so fun. Shit. And it, yeah, literally changed my life. So many videos, it just made me kind of rethink how I thought about how I experienced video games. Because it was like my first like RPG. Because before that I mainly just played like Call of Duty and shit. So yeah. And yeah. And I just kind of wanted to talk about like Miyazaki and how his wokeness is what I labeled this document. So mainly like so like his in Bloodborne and Elden Ring especially the amount of like the amount of times he brings up like motherhood and that kind of protecting role and like women that people just like, because most of the fan base is like men who don't like see this, who don't like acknowledge it, which really sucks because that is like a main part of all of his games. Because like Elden Ring, the whole like between like the DLC and the Manus Meta storyline with Emir, his goal of like becoming the mother of fingers, becoming the because even though I don't think, because some people think it's like maybe like an allegory for like trans people, for like transgenderness, but I don't think so. I think it's like mother as like a role, like motherhood as a role of being that protector, being that kind of guiding hand, which so many of the which Meta, America, the fingers, like, see, Meta was the mother of fingers, but her herself was without a mother as well, without, because the greater will had abandoned Meta like millennia before the events of Elden Ring even occurred. So like the guidance that what she was giving was all wrong. It was formed from scraps of what she could like put together from what the greater will had given her. And then the fingers took, the two fingers took those tiny little scraps that Meta gave them and then gave them to Marika, and it's just this cycle of having like this kind of generational cycle of just of not having a mother figure, and how much that like messes up the world, and also in Bloodborne, the just the symbolism of blood and Yharnam and like the wet nurse and all that, like it is also just all about motherhood and women, which the majority male fan base just doesn't see. Let's take a breath. Yeah, because like Adela and Ariana, they give you this special blood that only the women can give you, and the men like need and crave. It's like it's period blood. It is. And why Eileen doesn't give it to you is because she is older. She's been through menopause, and yeah, she doesn't have periods anymore. So it's like, it's so much of this symbology which is just overlooked by so much of the player base, which is really unfortunate because it's such a good story and so much symbolism. Also, like, my things. Oh yeah, in the DLC, the Elden Ring DLC, how it describes the genocide of the Hornsent, and during when it released, it just really paralleled what was going on in the world at the moment, at that time, and it's just like he very much wants to share those ideas with his audience, but just so many people just overlook them. There's also his experimenting and like how many of his characters are not on like a binary gender spectrum, and how he uses gender as more than just man and woman. It's like with Saint Trina and Nicola, like Saint Trina is symbolizing Nicola's love and like caring, And in the DLC, when you're going through that stone fissure place, he leaves behind Trina, and there is the spirit that says like, "Oh Nicola, how can you be this symbol of love and kindness when you cannot see, when you've left behind your ability to love and care?" It's like him having to leave behind everything really kind of like along his journey. What the fuck? Oh my god, I'm going the wrong way again. Jesus. Along his journey to try and create a better world, he like loses his ability to love, and it is quite sad. And it is comparable to just fascism, the way Mikola wants everything to be. Like, he is wanting everything to be nice, he is wanting everything to be perfect, but it is at the expense of everyone's free will. He's like controlling everyone's minds to create this perfect world, which I think a lot of people don't see. It's very much like Griffith from Berserk. That's also what I talk about, like his Miyazaki's inspirations from Berserk is just everywhere. Like Mikola is quite, not quite literally, but just he's very much Griffith-esque in his using kindness and love to manipulate and use people. Even though it is in the his final goal is to create a better world, but it's just kind of the method he uses kind of makes it lose any kind of meaning. And Gwendolyn, and also in Elden Ring Night Rain, a lot of the characters, they're kind of like not on a binary kind of, or not like a traditional gender presentation, like the Duchess using he/him pronouns, and the Wilder being very androgynous is just like is showing Miyazaki's just like love for that kind of non-traditional, like non-binary view of gender. Just like Gwendolyn with Gwyn losing his son, being unable to come to terms with that, not wanting another son, and then just forcing Gwendolyn to live as a woman. It's very honestly tragic. But yeah, it goes to show how he uses gender in his video games. He uses it as like disparity, because like obviously Dark Souls, that was his first iteration of that theme. Well, it wasn't his first iteration, but it was very much like 90% of that game was that disparity of light and dark, heat and cold, life and death. It's also man and woman, which he uses as part of that disparity. Which is very like cool to see. I'm trying to think. I also just love, this is less about his wokeness, but just like how he uses the history and shit to explain what is going on in his games is just super fun to me. Like, I've been reading, I started reading the Divine Comedy. I know it's super pretentious, but just so I can kind of understand those kind of topics, because it's just super like fascinating to me. And like how Miyazaki also uses his games to, especially Elden Ring. Elden Ring is very like very like political, and it kind of shows that kind of side of things, like political corruption with Marika and Vrani and Mikola, and how like history is not afraid to repeat itself, how it does keep going, how there's always going to be this cycle of life and death and just tragedy, and how we can be aware of that. It's so amazing. I love it so much. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't talk about this, but Kenneth Haidt, my work king, he's allowing, like, although he does like, oh, tarnished, but he is like, oh, yes, I will allow that. It's like it's kind of he's more accepting than most people. Then also allowing a tarnished to become the Lord of Limgrave in Nefeli Lur is very amazing, and allowing Gostock to become a keep stay as the groundskeeper of Stormvale Castle. I haven't talked to this guy. I need to get my ancient dragons to him. Apart from this fucking asshole. All my homies hate getting it off now. Just using people and just constantly spying. It's just awful person. Fun character though. Here we go. He's Nefeli. She's super cool.
Oh, I'm not seeing I am here by the player's mind. Oh, I wonder if he's in his if you have an old father, I'm sure at all. So I'll see you again.
Her questline's super cool. I love it so much. Gideon on a smaller scale, kind of wiping out the Albinoric village because he sees them as less than, just like less worthy of life as the Tarnished, because like he himself has been discriminated against being a Tarnished, and then he takes that same anger out, that same emotions out onto the Albinorics, which are an artificial life form. Albinoric literally meaning white gold. Like they are made of the gold. Oh my god, gold! I love the symbol of gold. Like, do I have it? I don't. Wait, let me pull it up. I'm gonna cheat sheet here. Forgive me. How do I show desktop? I'm fucking up. There we go. Let's pull it up. We want to get the spell. What's it called? golden braid. That's what it's called. See the law on names. Yeah, only the kind of gold without order, because the golden, sorry, not the gold, the greater will symbolizes order. They love order. And Marika has that kindness of gold, but she was then manipulated by the fingers, who then, it's just that cycle of the wrong messaging passed down, and then she becomes this evil person. Yeah. Because before she left, she was just pure kindness. She had this magic of gold to heal and bathe people. It's so sad. And also, let's get the talisman up. Yeah. What was her prayer, her wish, her confession? Because if you look at Marika, are there any paintings of her anywhere around here? It's Radagon. Radagon again. There might be one in here. There we go. Because you can see how she only has one braid. She cut it off to give to the grandmother as a kind of show of, as a parting gift to her people who were wiped out because of the horn scent. And like, yes, like, in some instances you can say it was justified, but she went too far. It's like retaliating a genocide with another genocide is not right. It goes too far. Like you get a little bit, to quote Quaylag, she's one of my favorite law theorizers, by the way. Quaylag, I might add her. But yeah, it's like you get a little bit of revenge as a treat, but what Marika did was too much. It was wrong. I don't know why I have to say that, but yeah. Yeah. Take a screenshot, why not? What else to yap about? I don't know. I guess I'll stop it here. I might make another video later about just yapping about Elden Ring, I guess, but this is where the story ends for today. Thank you. I'm so upset I was muted for the first half of the video, so I had to redo it, but yeah. Yeah, that was great. Meow meow.